An awful situation at Unit 18.
Yeah, 3 Ambos rocked up at Casuarina prison overnight after a 000 call came through at 1:55am. But they weren't there to pick up an adult prisoner, they were there for a kid. He was transported to Fiona Stanley Hospital with paramedics working to resuscitate the teen the entire way.
What's the government said?
Well, Corrective Services Minister Paul Papalia fronted the media today.
He was talking to officers in the control room. They were concerned. They dispatched other officers to respond. It was only a matter of minutes and he was found unresponsive. They immediately commenced resuscitation.
He also said the boy had been there for about 3 months. For those who came in late, Unit 18 was set up last year at Casuarina to deal with detainees from the Youth Justice Centre Banksia Hill who were destructive or a danger to fellow inmates and prison staff. Literally, it's a section of the adult prison that was gazetted as a youth detention facility.
There's been big problems with this unit.
Huge. Less than 9 months after it opened, the government was forced to reveal that 2/3 of young offenders sent to Unit 18 had tried to self-harm or suicide. The conditions were so bad that a key instigator of riots at both facilities was actually given a lighter sentence because spending more time in Unit 18 would make him more dangerous. Now, the issue of youth detention in WA plagued the final months of Mark McGowan's tenure as Premier.
Some of these children are not going to be okay. They're either going to self-harm or they're going to come out and do really worse things.
And it ultimately cost the underperforming previous Corrections Minister Bill Johnston his portfolio when Roger Cook took the top job. Now, the first rule of politics when something goes to shit is blame the previous mob. But it's not like Cook and Paps can throw the state daddy under the bus. So what are they doing instead? Well, today it sounded a lot like Papalia had found a new scapegoat for the systemic failures of Unit 18.
The most challenging, complex and often dangerous juvenile detainees are housed in Unit 18. They are very challenging, complex and frequently dangerous cohort. This is the toughest cohort you confront.
Mate, we get the idea. Those kids are no angels. But what on earth do you think would happen when you lock them up in hell?
It's just a horrifying situation.
The same could be said for the Middle East right now.
Parents butchered using their bodies to try to protect their children. Stomach-turning reports of babies being killed. Entire families slain.
The initial attack by Hamas on the weekend was despicable. Hundreds of young people killed at a music festival, and it seems to get worse every day. It's unthinkable violence, and it goes without saying you wouldn't want your kids exposed to it. Which is why some experts around the world, including right here in Australia, are urging parents to delete the social media apps from their kids' phones, and to do it now. As we know, Hamas has dozens of Israeli hostages, and I hate to say it, but there's a very real chance they'll be executed. And if that happens, it's pretty likely an organisation like Hamas will take a leaf out of the Islamic State playbook and share the footage on social media.
We've seen it before.
Yeah, well, just like it happened with ISIS, this type of footage goes viral, and there'll be sick, twisted people who think it's funny to hide it in content aimed at kids. Take the case of American Ronnie McNutt, who live-streamed his suicide on Facebook in 2020. That footage went viral before being shared in schools right here in WA and used by kids on TikTok to prank other students. Then Prime Minister Scott Morrison put a rocket up social media outlets over it.
Your products are changing the world, but with that comes a great responsibility, and you need to be accountable and you need to be responsible for making sure that your product does not harm Australians.
Of course, we know these platforms are very good at taking down posts that infringe on the copyright of multinationals, but when it comes to harmful content that generates clicks, not so much. The European Union has so little faith in Elon Musk doing it on X, they gave him just 24 hours to address graphic images of the Hamas attacks or risk a fine of 6% of the platform's revenue. And that's the thing about this latest warning to parents. The horse has already bolted, folks. If you think these Hamas atrocities are reason to delete TikTok off your child's phone, you should have hit delete a long time ago. Our kids are exposed to this stuff constantly online, a terrifying reality that many parents choose to ignore. I'm Ben O'Shea.
For more Up Late, click the subscribe button below.